Hi, this is Gary from 3Bug Media, and today we're going to talk about why local SEO is so important for your small business. Now, I assume that you already know what SEO is. It's the practice of trying to get your website or web pages ranked high in the search engine results when people search for your type of business or service, okay? And we're going to talk about why it's important and do a comparison against advertising, okay? So when it comes to doing local SEO, there's a couple things to compare it against when we're talking about advertising. Here we're going to talk about PPC, which is pay-per-click advertising, namely Google AdWords, okay? Because a lot of small businesses do Google AdWords, but not a lot of businesses invest in SEO, and the reason being is advertising is easy to get started and it's easy to see results, whereas SEO is a little bit more difficult to get started, and when you actually implement it, you don't see the results right away. You may not see results for several months or at least several weeks down the line, so it's kind of hard to figure out what the ROI is, and that's what we're going to talk about here today, okay? So when it comes to local SEO versus pay-per-click advertising, paid online advertising, there's a couple advantages to it. Number one is people tend to trust the organic search results over ads that show up in the search results, okay? So organic search results tend to get more clicks, and people tend to trust those rankings more than the typical advertisements that are above and at the bottom on the search results page. Number two, it works for you month after month. When you do paid advertising or any kind of advertising, as soon as you stop the advert or you stop paying for it, everything goes back to zero. There's no lasting value, there's no residual value to it. You're either paying for it and getting results, and as soon as you stop paying, the results stop. When it comes to SEO, you make that investment up front, and it may take a while to start seeing results, but once you do, those results work for you week after week and month after month, and sometimes they work for year after year, especially if you continue to do some kind of maintenance with your website and with your SEO. You can see results year after year for work that you did months ago or even years ago. So it works for you month after month. And most importantly, it provides a better long-term ROI over paid advertising. Now, one of the hardest things when it comes to SEO is figuring out what's the ROI for it. If I'm going to invest all this money up front, because SEO definitely costs quite a bit of money because it's time consuming and it can be difficult depending on what industry you're in to get those rankings. So sometimes it's hard to figure out the ROI. So I'm going to give you an example of how you can figure out, well, if I'm going to invest in SEO, what kind of return on investment compared to other, namely advertising, what kind of return on investment can I get? Okay, so I'm going to give you an example here. Say you're a divorce attorney in Charlotte, North Carolina, okay? Now, I use Google Keyword Planner for this, so these are real numbers that we're working with here. Say we take the term divorce attorney in Charlotte, okay? On average, in Charlotte, that gets about 210 searches a month, this term, divorce attorney in Charlotte, okay? When you take variations of that term, you get over 500 searches a month. So variations would be divorce attorneys, plural, in Charlotte, or Charlotte divorce attorneys, all those kind of variations, and they all kind of add up. And once you add all those up, it's over 500 searches a month, okay? So Google AdWords estimates that the cost per click is $27 a click. That's a lot. $27 is a lot, and that's per click, okay? So that's only to get somebody to click on your ad, go to your website. And you may need several clicks to get somebody to fill out some kind of contact form or to call you. And above that, you may need to get several leads, people filling out forms or calling you before you get one customer. So you can see how $27 a click can get very, very expensive pretty quick. And traditionally, attorneys, the legal field is very competitive online, and it's very expensive because the payouts to land a new client is pretty lucrative. So for this, it's $27, okay? So let's take an example. Say you do SEO, you invest in SEO, and eventually you get the rank around number 4 on page 1 of the Google search results. So you're not at the very top getting the lion's share of the searches, but you're in the running and you're getting some of that click share, okay? So let's take this example. You rank number 4 in Google, and say, this is just an estimate, say you get 70 searches a month, 70 clicks a month for these variations of divorce attorney in Charlotte and all the tertiary terms that come along with it. Because the thing with SEO is, if you can rank a web page for divorce attorney in Charlotte, you're going to get a lot of secondary terms along with it. And that may be divorce attorneys in Charlotte, where to find divorce attorneys in Charlotte, where can I find divorce lawyers in Charlotte. Google understands all these variations and they understand that it means the same thing. So a lot of times if you can rank for one of these terms, you actually rank for a whole bunch of the terms. Okay? So say you're getting 70 clicks a month on average for that web page for these rankings. Okay? 70 times $27 a click is going to cost you $1,890 a month. So that's a lot of money that you're paying if you were doing Google AdWords. So that's kind of how you can do a comparison, okay? So $1,890 a month over $22,000 a year. If you're doing paid advertising, pay-per-click advertising, $27 a click average, that's pretty much what you'd be paying if you're doing advertising to replace that SEO that you did, where you're getting those organic searches. So you can see the value when you do that cost comparison, the value comparison against Google AdWords, what you would be paying if you had to pay for this for advertising. You can see that page and these rankings are worth over $22,000 a year to you, okay? SEO, depending on your SEO, and this is just an estimate, say you paid somebody $3,000 to create a great page on your website, optimize the copy, get links for it, social shares, and really work on that page over the course of a couple months. And say you even paid a little bit more. Say you paid $5,000, okay? Which might seem crazy for one web page, but you can see the payout results, especially in an industry like this where it's really competitive, okay? But say you spent $3,000 for that. And maybe after that you spend another $1,500 a year or whatever on some basic maintenance, on doing some social shares, maintenance to the page, optimization, links, things like that. So on average you spend about $3,000 up front to get you rankings to number 4, okay? Compare that to the $22,000 you would have paid for Google advertising for that same investment. And that's where you can see long-term the ROI is much, much higher. You know, there is definitely a risk with this because investing in SEO doesn't mean that you're going to get the rankings. It really depends on your website, your competitors, and the quality of the SEO company that you're working with on what they can do and what kind of budget that you're working with. Because I mean, in reality, it may be a little bit more than $3,000, but I'm just using this as an example to show you if you were doing paid advertising, how much money it would cost you. So when you're trying to figure out ROI for your SEO, comparing it against what you would pay in Google AdWords is a great comparison, and it's a great way to figure out, okay, well, if I was going to pay for this just for advertising, it would cost me X, and if I'm going to invest in SEO, it's going to cost me X. You can start to figure out what your ROI should be and kind of what the value of that SEO would be, okay? So hopefully this makes sense, and hopefully this example puts it in a little bit more perspective on what the ROI potential is for SEO. And to recap, when you're doing paid advertising, as soon as you stop advertising, everything resets back to 0. So you lose all your value. There's no residual value to advertising. You know, you're either paying or you're not. Your ads are either on or they're not. With SEO, you create that value on your website, you create those rankings, and even if you stop doing all SEO, it doesn't mean your web page falls off the map and you lose your rankings. You may stay there for a good year or so, even if you did absolutely nothing, and continue to get those rankings, and every month get those clicks month after month after month, and keep realizing that ROI for your initial investment up front. So hopefully this gives you a little more insight on why local SEO is so important for your small business. And if you want to learn more, you can go to 3bugmedia.com. We specialize in local SEO and local marketing in general. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Okay? Thank you very much and have a good day.